Hi everyone, welcome to my final project presentation. First, we're going to talk about the current practices and standards that I currently have in my district. For the most part for this presentation, I'm going to be focusing on our smaller self-contained classrooms because that's where we put the most work into SEL and restorative practices to date. But the whole district does participate in Habitudes, but it's once a week. It's not a whole lot of information for the kids, and they're kind of like, I don't even know what this is. So we need to get better as a district, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But the self-contained special education classrooms, they have SEL lessons daily, and this is mostly emotional support classrooms, but there are some life skills classrooms that also participate. Per my request, the district recently purchased an SEL curriculum, which is positive actions, which really focuses on kind of the whole child approach. And in Pennsylvania, the Department of Education advises that our SEL curriculum focus on trauma-informed learning and restorative practices, which, as we know, goes hand in hand, and they both go really, really well and in line with positive actions. So that's been great digging into that positive actions and really finding out how much it aligns. What we're doing well in these self-contained classrooms is the self-awareness and self-management is really getting better. We prescribe the name it to tame it. That's really what we're working on with students of all ages, really. And we're using the zones of regulation to do that, help students to identify emotions within themselves and others. Also, teaching healthy replacement behaviors for any maladaptive behaviors. So, we all know that behavior is a form of communication, and sometimes our students cannot communicate in a healthy way what they are trying to get across. So we want to teach a healthy replacement behavior to get the need met that they're exhibiting. And as part of the trauma-informed mindset, movement breaks are definitely built into the school day. We have a reset room now that is new for us this year. It was part of the reset process that we started working on this year. It's just a room where kids can go to regulate their emotions. At different grade levels, we have different things in the rooms. For example, the elementary room, there's a lot of bean bags, there's some books, there's a big coloring poster, there's trampolines, and then up at the high school, we have treadmills, we have puzzles, there's a Bowflex, so they can kind of go de-escalate and learn how to regulate their emotions. And this is all guided with an adult there. We're also establishing and maintaining relationships really well. Circles every day. We're starting to use circles for more than just conflict resolution, using them more for academics in all different subjects. And that seems to be really building the sense of community. They're learning to take turns and value opinions. We did have to start off with a talking stick so people would learn, especially at the high school, shockingly enough. The students would try to talk over one another, they'd get louder. So we had to institute the talking stick to kind of have that as a norm that we're not talking unless it's our turn. Oftentimes, when a conflict arises in the classroom, students are asking to circle up and talk about it. It's been so refreshing when you see two kids of differing opinions on something, and one of them's like, oh, let's circle up and talk about this. It's great for conflict resolution. Peer-to-peer relationships are thriving because of the safety and security that they feel within the classroom that's coming from our SEL, that's coming from restorative practices. It's just coming from the modeling and the security of the classroom. We also have a great PBIS system. The kids cannot ever say that they are not aware of the expectations. We use the acronym PROUD for perseverance, respect, ownership, unity, and dedication. And sometimes this is talked about at school ad nauseum. So these kids really, really, really can't say they don't know what to expect. We have the matrix, posted all over the school in poster size in the cafeteria. It's everywhere. And students are really prescribing to this because we have some PBIS kind of fun days that if you earn so many points, they have a little scan tag that on their student IDs that when they're caught exhibiting these behaviors, they get scanned by a teacher and then they build up so many points and then they get to participate in these fun days. They get to choose prizes. It's really wonderful and does seem to be changing the climate of the school quite a bit. How my learning is impacting my practices. I have definitely learned through this class that the SEL needs to be standardized and not kind of fly by night. When I was teaching, I had no curriculum for SEL, no guidance, was just told I had to do it at least once a day. So what do? Go to Pinterest because that's where you find there are cool things on there, but I had no idea what to teach what student based on developmental levels. It was terrible and kind of a mess. So this year with this new curriculum, it's been great because it's based on developmental needs of students and it does align with CASEL's competencies. But we also did interview students, staff, and parents. They did a survey based on what they felt, students, what they felt their SEL needs were, what parents felt their students needed, and what the teachers felt their students needed. And then we kind of are building this positive actions with those things in mind. As I said, the classrooms have begun to circle up more for more than just SEL. Begun a dialogue with administration about restorative practices and a need for more intense SEL for the whole building. Then my plan, so regular education teachers have been observing SEL lessons on circles in the self-contained classroom. Next week, I will guide those teachers in facilitating circles within their own classrooms. And basically, what I'm looking to do is for teachers to understand that SEL does not have to be explicitly taught in every classroom, just that what they are learning in SEL is then modeled in other classrooms. And I also want teachers to understand that circles can be done in an academic setting for academic reasons to build that sense of community. They oftentimes, when they hear, oh, I have to be doing restorative practice circles, like, how do I have time for that? I teach math. So I want them to understand how academics and restorative practices kind of tie together. I also facilitated meetings between the teachers and the self-contained classrooms to review the curriculum, the new curriculum, and to curriculum map, as well as share ideas. Curriculum comes with a lot of things. So to kind of sift through that and to find out what's working and just basically have people who know what you're trying to do and they have the same goal come together. And then the district has school psychologists that are trained in the curriculum, so their input has been very valuable in trying to get this off the ground. Administration has been visiting classrooms that are using the new curriculum. So after each visit, I'm meeting with them to try to formulate a plan for a whole school rollout of positive actions as well as restorative practices. So we're looking at possibly next year having an elective social emotional learning class because it's really difficult for every teacher to teach it. And I get that. I understand it. So looking at an elective, because we definitely have students in the regular education setting that could benefit from SEL. So we also plan to implement restorative practices in small manageable pieces. So when I first started my journey with restorative practices, it was through our local intermediate unit. And it was like a 4-day training and it was great. But then a lot of the staff is, oh, that's too much. We can't do it. We can't do it. So we are deciding as a district that we're going to start with small pieces and start instituting some of these pieces of restorative practices and then look at the bigger picture. So if we can piece all these things together, so we're going to start with a training from the intermediate unit on the social discipline window. And once we can get teachers all on the same page with that, figured that wasn't something too big to start with that was unmanageable, but is going to give maximum benefit. So we are going to start there and cross our fingers and hope that it goes well. My references were Jess Castle, and then I used the Pennsylvania Social Emotional Learning Standards. Thank you for listening to my presentation and have a great day.